Hello and welcome to Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk, powered by Fairway. Nick probably thought I forgot. I didn't forget. Our title sponsor, special thanks to those guys and all of our sponsors. We are here talking a little bit of spring sports and summer. This is kind of a hybrid episode. If you're watching this, you're watching on... Actually, I'm going to introduce my co-host, and he can tell you what to watch it on. Hunter Moeller, where do you watch Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk on?
Well, there's a couple of places you can do it. We'll start off, we always say Spotify last, but you can listen to us on or watch us on Spotify there. On Facebook, you can find us at Washington Live's Facebook, Mount Pleasant Live's Facebook, and Fairfield Live's Facebook. We're also on YouTube under Washington Live. You can see us live there. As well, coming at you every Tuesday, 1 o'clock, roughly 1 o'clock, I should say. We vary between 15-minute time spans between 1 and I'd say and
yeah, that's right. Today we started about 1:15.
But yeah, check us out. Obviously you're here right now if you're tuning in, but yeah,
that's right. And then Nikki Brackett's Nick Steffens on the ones and twos. Hunter, how was your weekend?
Not too bad. Went up to some state golf on Saturday. I know we'll get into that, or Friday. We'll get into that a little bit. But
yes, you were on site. I wish
golfing.
And you did some golfing as I did. We were just talking about me driving it into the parking lot. We won't say how far the hole was, but I'll hit it off the tee. What was I just saying? Oh, we were talking about golf, and I need to talk about golf because let's flash back to last week's episode.
Yep.
We don't have that technology we probably do, but I didn't tell Nick about it, to pop in a clip of last week's episode while we were watching the Class 3A Iowa High School State Association Boys Golf State Tournament live score thingy. Washington's Roman Roth was up, 3 shots going into day 2 last Wednesday, which was finishing up during this show, so we didn't get to have the big reveal, but we got a state champion, Hunter.
Yeah.
Roman Roth, an amazing round. He finished at -1 over there in Ames and won the Class 3A state championship by a incredible 8 strokes, which is ridiculous in high school sports.
Yeah.
Especially he got 7th last year. He came in, he was on what would you call it? A roll. There's another word I was going to use, but it didn't work out perfect. For at least the last 4 or 5 tournaments, he won the Southeast Conference tournament for the 2nd straight year. Next week, he wins the sectional tournament in Washington, won the district tournament in Pella, and then finally the state tournament in Ames. So a historic season for him. The first ever Washington boy golfer to win the state golf title. Mm-hmm. And so after the show, I was texting Colin Stark, the coach, throughout. After the show, I ran to Washington, chatted with him a little bit. They had like a cool celebration where his teammates and a couple other kids were there to kind of see him in. But yeah, he started the tournament with an eagle, a double bogey, and a double bogey. First 3 holes. Wow. And they settled down, and he eagled the exact same hole. He eagled his first hole both rounds. He played 18 every day. Or for 2 days, I guess. And he just kept building that lead and never let it go. So really cool thing for the old Demons, right, Hunter?
Yeah. Very cool. Obviously he was one of our best golfers from, the area that we've covered this season. And needless to say, he kind of saved his best for last.
Yeah, he did. And, even when kids are on a roll like that, you wonder, golf is one of those sports where it's usually up and down. It's a streaky type game. It's just like baseball is another one where sometimes you're hitting the ball and sometimes you're not. And Roman just kind of seemed to stick with it there. Again, he's been good all year, but especially those last 4 or 5 weeks. Again, -1 overall, -2 on the day. So he had the best round of all. He had the best game of all. And so pretty cool. Also, congratulations to Coach Stark over at Washington. Not only did he coach the first ever Washington boys state golf champion, but he had a child, his first kid, little boy. That would have been 2 weeks prior. That would have been during the sectional meet. Noticed he wasn't at a sectional meet and didn't think of anything of it, and then he shows up at the party with a little baby. So pretty cool week for him. He said he's finally going to get a little bit of sleep, maybe, but that's a little bit.
A little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, and then so congratulations, Roman Roth. Congratulations, Demons. And then we've got some more golf to talk about. Not just the Demons, but you were took a little trip to watch some state golf last weekend. How'd that go?
Actually, we probably should mention one more team that won a state title.
Oh, and because Hillcrest Academy boys. What am I thinking?
Yeah, the Hillcrest Academy boys picked up a state title as a team.
Yes.
Obviously, they achieved perfection this season. 53-0 with the state title win. They shot a 650. Let's see. They were up in Ames Golf and Country Club. That's where the Class 1A state titles were. They shot a 650 to win the title, 5 shots better than second place West Fork. Really it was kind of an up and down tournament. I mean, they played pretty well through the opening round, 337 as a team in that opening round. That was good enough for third place after day one. Really, going into the second round, it was a tough start on the front nine. They dropped all the way down to fifth at one time. And then, I mentioned Ross saying his best for last. I think the Ravens, you could definitely say they saved their best for last. They shot an amazing 147 on the back nine, starting fifth in the second round. 147 was their best 9 holes of golf this season.
Wow.
Senior Luke, and then his brother Liam, who's a sophomore, shot incredible scores, lowest of the season. Both shot 34s on the back nine. Rowan Miller shot a 39 in that back nine. Jace Rempel 40, Josiah Beachy 47, and Seth Hours 51. So in their second day of 18, they shot a low of 313, and that was able to propel them to the title. So a little kind of comeback story there for the Ravens. Total scores on the second day were Rowan Miller and Luke Schrock each was 75, Liam Schrock with an 81, Rempel with an 82, Beachy with a 91, and Seth Hours with a 99. And for Hillcrest, it's the first title since the 2009 boys cross country team, and it's the 7th title in Hillcrest Academy history for sports across all sports programs. So, kudos to them. They played some outstanding golf, and they won a state title.
Yeah, now that might be the first state title for them under the Hillcrest Academy crest, right? Because this was from IMS a few years ago.
It was probably. Back in 2009, that's definitely what the IMS.
Yeah, so this is the first time this is the first time we can say that the Ravens are state champions. 2 things stuck out to me about that tournament. 3 things. First off, Rowan Miller tied for 7th with that score. He's a freshman. So there's another freshman, and 2 freshmen in the top 7 there. One is that Hillcrest all year has been just the most consistent team. They didn't have Miller being in 7th here. That might be the furthest I saw Hillcrest a golfer this entire time.
Yep.
After day one, I think he was maybe just inside the top 10 too.
Yeah, I think he was in. I think he might have been like 12th or.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he might have been in the top 10.
So they didn't even need the golfer in the top 5 to win the state championship because they were so consistent across the board.
I mean, they were all. I think relatively they were all inside like the top 30, which is like if all your golfers are inside the in kind of that range there. I mean, you're sitting pretty good because usually, teams more or less have like a couple golfers that can be inside the top 20, and then everybody else is kind of,
there's a big variance.
But like, I mean, they're all pretty close to each other. I mean, and obviously they got a great core of, 4 golfers that are, inside. I think 4 golfers that are pretty much inside the top 20 of every single time.
Yeah. And then the other thing that stuck out to me was after the first round. Can I do it by round 1 here? No. Yeah, I can. After the first round, Hillcrest Academy had shot a 337. That was so Cam was first with 335.
Yep.
Remsen St. Mary's 336. Hillcrest and Montezuma tied at 337. Then it went 338, 340, 342, 345, and 2 tied at 347. So there were 12 strokes separating the entire field in Class 1A, which was pretty insane. And so we really had no idea when we were looking at it. Hillcrest could have. We were like, I think last week we said they could get first or last, because that's only a few strokes off either way. So they were the team that showed out on the last day. I think plus 29 on the last day. West Fork was second best on that at plus 33. So really cool for the Ravens. That's crazy. We had 2 state championships like that. Boom, boom, back to back.
It's crazy in golf how much it swings, especially when there's like a 12 stroke, just 12 stroke difference, I guess, between. Those top teams, even like, if there was like 3 strokes separating, first, second, and third. So it's really, one hole by one, kid can make all the difference. And that's what we've seen. We've seen, they started out slow shooting a 166 on the front 9 of day 2. And then they shoot, 21 strokes better on the back 9. And, that just, jumped them up there to the title. So.
Yeah, that was awesome for the Hillcrest Academy Ravens. It's really cool that they got that first title under the Hillcrest logo. I remember when they switched over. Not that was that long ago, like I'm some old guy or whatever. But all right, now we can talk about the girls a little bit. You were on scene at Cedar Falls, I believe, for Washington. Wait, one more thing. Can we didn't, there was an individual we did not mention in 1A, Mason Shelley.
Yep.
Let's talk about Mason Shelley real quick. Tied for 18th for New London. That's a senior. His top finish over there at the state tournament, plus 22. He shot an 86 on day one and improved to a 78 on day two. Not a lot of kids can say that they were 78 and under on day two, so that was a huge little rush for him and a cool another cool result for the New London golf program, which we'll talk about here pretty soon because we're going to talk about the girls. So tell me what you got, Hunter.
Yeah, as I mentioned, I was up in Cedar Falls there. Pretty great 2 days of golf up there for all competitors, I guess. Pheasant Ridge Golf Course there. Cedar Falls, the Washington Demon girls, we mentioned Roth earlier. The girls up there as a team finished fourth in the state finals there. They shot a 688. They gave them the fourth place finish. Shout out to Fairfield's Viola Welsh too, finishing up her career there.
Her first state
individual, first state appearance there. 22nd overall. We'll get to her scores here in a sec. Let's see here.
I will talk just real quick while you get those scores up.
You're good.
Fairfield had two different girls. They had Maya Tuhill go last year and Viola Welsh go this year. So they had two different girls make state in two different seasons. So I think they were talking about, I was talking to the coach Joe the other day at the qualification, and I think Fairfield had 3 golfers, maybe 2 golfers, about 4 years ago, and then 4 years later they have 2 state caliber golfers and a bunch of other ones. So that program has really risen the last few years.
Yeah, they did. And really the difference, heading into that final day was the Demons shot 6 shots higher than their original score there on day one. Meanwhile, the 3 higher schools there, Gilbert was the state champ, shot 11 shots lower. They kind of blew out the field there. 321 was their final. Dubuque Wahlert 10 strokes lower was second, 331. And coming into day 2, Washington was tied there for third with Wahlert, and Clear Lake was fourth there. Clear Lake ended up shooting 2 shots lower at 333. Kaylin Long finished with a total score of 157. Heading into day 2, she was tied for third. She ended up tying for fourth originally, and then on card back, she was dropped to fifth. McKenna Conrad, she ended up shooting 81 on her first day. That was good enough to get her 12th. She totaled 164 over the 2 days. Once again, ending, she was in a 3-way tie for 10th, but then was bumped down to 12th on card back. So she, on card back, was given the lower score out of those 2 other golfers there from Winterset and Xavier. Haley Mitchell shot 3 strokes higher in the final. She carded a 93, 183 overall. That was good enough for 29th. Mallory Johnson finished with a 187 overall. She shot 2 strokes higher in the final day, finished 39th overall. Adam Long finished with a total of 190, 41st place for her there. And then Macy Williams shot 1 stroke better in her final day with a total over the 2-day tournament, 195 for 52nd. And then, as we mentioned, Welsh is the individual. Finished the first day with a 90, second day with an 85, 175 total, good enough for 22nd overall. So, overall kind of pretty nice finish. I know they were pretty happy. Felt like they could have done better in some areas. Fourth place finish ain't nothing to fret about there.
And they had some tough. I believe a couple of those private schools. Wahlert was one of them.
Dubuque Wahlert, yep.
If you look through the regional finals, let's see if I can bring this up. They were going against teams that shot a ridiculous. Xavier shot 320 in the regional final, and Wahlert shot 334, and that was Washington at a different course. Was 339, which was their best score of the year, the best score since that group had been together. So they were against some stiff competition as far as those team scores were concerned. Clear Lake, another team, they were at 339, so there was some Gilbert 321, the eventual state champions. Those are the regional results. So going in, that was a really, really, really tough field this year.
And you really mentioned they can't be looking at those scores. They can't be too down on themselves because obviously, like I said, heading into that second day, they were tied with Wahlert, who put together that great score at 341. And then, Clear Lake's up there, like I said, was right there in fourth. But like I said, Gilbert was like another level. They were all about 10 strokes better than everybody else. So
hard to make it up in golf because you need so much to happen.
You need to like almost play better too, or you need them to like drastically, kind of have a down day.
Couple of trees. Have a crazy hole like last year. Washington will remember this. Last year they were in, and they're in somewhere out in central Iowa, and they misplaced the pin on the 18th green, and it was the hole kind of came off the slope, and so you had to play the hill a little bit. But if you missed it even by a little bit, it flew all the way off the green, and so there were girls getting like 13s, 14s on the regular last year. So glad they didn't have any crazy holes like that. People were pretty upset at how that went. By the way, that's Conrad a senior, Alicia Goff a senior, Mallory Johnson, Kaylin Long, and Haley Mitchell all seniors. So that's a huge group. Obviously, they got some young girls like Adeline Long just jumped right into their lineup this year, and Washington reloads in girls golf all the time. But that was a pretty huge class for the Demas Lewis. So.
Yeah, and then we'll jump into our other team. Well, we have two more teams, I guess I should say. Jump into Class 1A. New London Tigers, always been a perennial girls golf team, always representing the state tournament seems. I believe they got fourth last year, I think, as a team. I have to double check on that. But runners up this year. Really, the whole tournament, it was them. One other team that'd be, state champion Grundy Center. The Tigers shot 729 for the runner-up position. Individually, Taylor Phillips Jr., one of the top golfers we cover around here, finished with a runner-up. Finished as the individual runner-up with a 160, just one shot behind Grundy Center, state champion. Let's see, do I have her name here? I don't think I do, but. Basically, she was one shot from winning the state title there.
How old is that Grundy Center girl? Well, you probably don't know. I probably just put you on the spot there for no reason.
I can't remember.
But I was going to say Taylor Phillips only a junior, so she's got one more year left of that on that state championship.
But only, pretty good rounds of golf here for the Tigers. They opened up with the first round score of 364. As I mentioned, it was only Grundy Center, kind of New London out front there in the first two spots for the whole tournament. So that 364 was 13 shots behind Grundy Center with a 351, but 25 shots better than third place BCLUW with 389. Phillips had a 78 through the opening round. That was good enough for first place, but the Grundy Center girl was right there, pretty much the whole time. So it was anybody's game, really. Sophie Malott shot a 91 through opening round. That was good enough for 12th. Emma Busby, 21st through 18 with a 96. Tying for 25th was Emma Nye. We'll get to her. She had a great second round. She had a 99 there. Good enough for tied for 25th, as I said. Isabel Nye, 115, tied for 59th, and Stevie Wintermeyer finished with a 66. Or finished 66 in that opening round with a 123. Shout out Highlands, Kelsey Kearney as an individual there. She finished her opening round with a 105, tying for 43rd. As I mentioned, we kind of talked about it. The Tigers needed to have a great day in that second round. Grundy Center kind of, drop off a little bit. They did finish one stroke higher in round two with a 365, but that ended up being 42 shots better than third place West Branch. But Grundy Center ended up winning it with the final of 706 there. So Phillips ended with an 82 on that second day, so for a total of 160. Oh, here we go. And then Grundy Center's Abby Lindemann finished with a 159 there, so that one stroke separation there for the state title. Emma and I, as I mentioned, made quite the jump. She shot an 87 in that second day, jumped her from 26, tied at 26 there all the way to 12th overall with a 186. Emma Busby with a 95 on the second day, 191 total, good enough for 23rd. Sophia Malott finished right behind Busby there, 101 on the second day with a total of 192. That was good enough for 24th, and Isabel Nye shot a 109, totaling 224 in the two-day tournament for 59th. Stevie Wintermeyer, 115 for a total of 238 for 67th overall, and Kearney golfed a 104 with a total of 209, and that placed her 45th. So Yeah, real nice showing from New London as a team. Obviously, Phillips there is the runner-up. Couple runner-ups for the Tigers there.
Add that one to the trophy case. One of my kids had a dance at New London High School, and so my 1-year-old and I were just walking around New London, and we were looking at all the trophies. So she was with a lot of girls golf trophies.
You said I've been around here a while.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, So by the way, Cameron Lair and Emma Nye, the only 2 seniors on that New London roster. So another team that good. I mean, New London always has a good chance to win state or place top 3, no matter what. But next year will be another pretty good year for them. So we got one more. One more
team here. We got the Golden Hawks of Mid Prairie representing at the 2A meet, finishing 7th overall in the class. With 751 points over 2 days. Missed out on 6 by just 2 strokes. Kylie Reiner led the way with a 19th overall finish with 181 total score. She shot 93 round 1 and 88 in the second there. Maddie Davidson shot 89 in the opening round for 10th. Heading into the second day, she finished with a 97 in the second for 186 total over 2 days. Good enough for 26th. Finishing 34th was Gabby Robertson. Robertson shot 101 and 92 in each of those first and second day for a total of 93. Addison English finished 39th overall. She shot a 99 open and a 95 to finish for 194 total. Elliot Dabler finished with a total of 198 for 47th. She shot a 98 and then a 101 or 100 in the second day. Finishing 61st was Alexi Huber with a final score of 213. Huber carded 101 and then 106 in each of those 2 days. And then as a squad, as I mentioned, they opened the tournament with a 379. And then they were just one shot behind Van Meter heading into day 2 with a 378. So in the final round, they shot 7 strokes better than opening day with a 372. And I might sound a little confusing. Mid Prairie had 379. Van Meter had 378. I was reading it. I kind of got myself confused while reading the scores there.
That's right. Saying a lot of words. Easy to trip over.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we go. Huge weekend of state golf, like always. We always talk about how good the spring sports are around here. We have some tennis to chat about when the commercial break is over, and we got baseball and softball. So whether you're a spring fan or a summer fan or both, we got something for you. Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk presented by Fairway. We will be back in a couple of minutes.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Hospice isn't a place, it's a type of care that focuses on living. Servicing a 7-county area, the Hospice of Washington County staff of nurses, social work, hospice aides, spiritual and grief support, volunteers, music and massage therapists are able to provide free end-of-life care where the patient lives. We write wills, give consent for organ donation, but rarely is there a plan for what we would want the final phase of our lives. At Hospice of Washington County, we encourage our patients to be in charge of their healthcare decisions while maintaining quality of life.
Unbelievable amount of devastation. I've never seen anything like it.
We had a beautiful barn that was gone in 20 minutes.
Farm Bureau stepped up right away and said, hey, we got you and we'll be there for you.
We were taken care of. Now we could get on to repairing and rebuilding.
I tell everybody about Farm Bureau.
We're fortunate to say we have good coverage with good people doing it.
Contact Farm Bureau agents Tony Starr and Mike Welcher in Mount Pleasant today.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
Tammy takes the time and has the personal interest in each one of us. I don't worry about what's going to happen because I know my policy is taken care of.
She pulls what I need and puts it together, which is the program I get from her.
Every year she calls around September or so and says, there's changes again, and I'm going to do the best thing for you. It's been perfect. She does a great job.
Protection is important, especially when you're talking about your dreams, which is why we're going to keep you covered with plans that can save you up to 23% when you bundle your home and auto. That's protection.
Welcome back, Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk, powered by Fairway Food Stores. And pay attention to all of our sponsors there on the bottom of the little ticker right here. Right here. Only shop there, only get your goods there. We are going to talk about a little tennis. It's kind of a weird show because a lot of the main stuff on spring happened on Wednesday and Thursday last week. So it's been a little bit.
Right after the show.
Especially for me because I've been on vacation. So this was like 5 years ago for me. But I'm going to start with the doubles tournament because that was another thing we were watching last week. And we hadn't quite got full results. The only doubles team we had for boys were Garrett. The only doubles team we had period were Hans and Garrett Flanagan for Fairfield. They got a pretty darn tough road here. In tennis, you rank the first few teams, and then everybody else is kind of drawn out of a hat or whatever. They had to go against the number 4 ranked team in their first state game. 6-3 in the first set, 6-0 in the second set, which dropped them to the consolation bracket. By the way, that's what Waverly, Shell Rocks, Myers, and Ramker, who ended up in the third place game, I believe, and they got fourth. So that was good seeding because they ended up getting fourth. And then the consolation bracket, Fairfield was a couple of points away from possibly getting a rematch against the Xavier team that they played for the regional final, which Xavier won. Over here, they played against the Grundy Center team, Laub and Lawver. Fairfield takes the first one 7-6. Grundy Center right back 6-2, and then they played a 10-point tiebreak because it's consolation. 10-5 Grundy Center, which spelled the end of not only Fairfield's tennis season this year, but also a really cool career for that team. Those guys went 1-2. Last year at state, obviously two-time state qualifiers, two-time district runner-ups, so they've got a lot to, and conference champions as well for those two. So some decorated careers for those two, and sad to see those guys go. Fairfield will have to find somebody else to jump into that spot to try and get back to the state tournament over there in Waterloo. So, yeah, that's all. I thought you had something cooked up there. And by the way, that Grundy Center team ended up losing to the Xavier team of Nuhr and Schmidt. That Xavier team played Fairfield. That championship went to 3 sets in Fairfield in the regionals, and then that Xavier team got 5th. So of the teams that Fairfield lost to in the last couple weeks, it was the 4th place team at state, the 5th place team at state in the district final, and then that Grundy Center team who lost to the 5th place team at state. So they had some pretty darn tough competition, and I believe the winners for that doubles tournament was a team from Pella who straight up dominated. They did not have one set that wasn't 6-1 or better, so everything was 6-1 or 6-0. So classic Pella. Pella just wins everything apparently. So yeah. And we had one more at state, and you got that one pulled up on the girls' side.
Yep.
Tell us about it, Hunter.
So Ashita Mukadam was our lone singles qualifier. There on the girls' side, across both boys and girls. She headed up to Burns Park Tennis Center in Waterloo, capped off her season there between Friday and Saturday there. Pretty tough draw, as in the same with the Fairfield duo there. She was matched up with number 1 seeded Sophia Fain of Columbus Catholic, who ended up winning the state title. Mukadam was defeated in that match 6-1, 6-0. Despite the loss, showed a lot of heart, dominated in her next 2 matches, followed up with a 6-4, 6-1 victory over Lewis Central's Lainey Olson. Moved her down, the first loss moved her into the consolation side of the bracket. With that win, she moved on to the consolation quarterfinal. Kept up pace in the next match, downed Comanche Comanches Elise Davidson 6-2 and 6-3. Moved on to the consolation semifinal. With the win, she would move into the fifth place match. Her opponent was Kenna Mongan, or I don't know if I'm saying Cherokee.
Kenna Mongan. Oh.
Mongan, I think that's how you say it. Of Cherokee, Washington. Really, really tough match between the duo there. Mongan narrowly won both sets, 6-5, 5-0 tiebreaker there, and then 7-5 in that second set. With the loss, the best she could place was 7th, so she's in the 7th place match there, and really, pretty much dominated that one too. She topped Ballard's Caitlin Zungay 6-4 in each of the 2 sets, giving her a 7th place finish, 3-2 record of the state tournament. Real nice showing there, despite the tough round draw. Really kind of came back, and battled her way through an otherwise tough bracket for a 7th place finish. So
yeah, not too bad when you get to play. Was that five games at state? That's a lot of tennis to play. You covered that one. I didn't realize until looking through this bracket exactly how many times she had to go out there and play.
And 4 of those games are in one day.
Yeah, because she was in the consolation bracket, so she just played. So she had experience because she played in that 13-hour marathon at the team tournament.
Maybe that prepared her.
Yeah, maybe that prepared her. So get some rest over there, Ashita. So, and Maharishi girls, by the way, set up pretty well for the future. Maharishi tennis is kind of, I wouldn't even say making a comeback because they were good a few years ago. It's just that they have very high standards over there for their tennis teams. Right. Mukadam's a junior, by the way, so she is coming back. In fact, they had a pretty darn young squad, if I remember.
Only like one senior.
Bella Castle was a senior. I'm trying to think of Sarah Valls was a senior. Just trying to read off the girls who were in the top 6. And I believe that would be it. So I think 4 of their top 6 will be coming back next year. And they obviously went to the sub-state team final. So they were 1 game away from state 2 years in a row. Next year, maybe they'll be set pretty well. And we'll be set up pretty well to talk about some summer sports. Because that's all for our spring sports coverage that we know of on Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk. So all you people that just like baseball and softball and you're waiting for spring sports to get over so we can talk about it, and you're emailing saying, hey, baseball, softball's started. Boom. Starting on this next commercial break, we are a summer sports show. So we will be back in a couple minutes.
At Brown Shoe Fit, we pride ourselves on traditional sit and fit service that's been serving the Mount Pleasant area since 1952. At Brown's, we have shoes for the whole family. From kids to adults, we carry the finest footwear for every occasion. Whether you're looking for something for work, casual wear, or exercise, we've got you covered. And don't forget about our selection of safety toe footwear for both men and women. Come visit us 6 days a week and experience the best in traditional sit and fit service. Brown Shoe Fit, where quality and tradition meet.
Family owned and operated by Andy and Sarah Ross, Ross Auto has been your vehicle repair and maintenance headquarters since 1935. We specialize in all makes of cars and light-duty trucks. With our variety of available services, let us help you keep rolling and your vehicle operating efficiently. Services include general auto repair, alignments, brakes, fuel injection, and more. Schedule your appointment today at 319-653-5656. That's 319-653-5656. Bring the kids and share the memories from steam engines, antique cars and trucks, tractors, gas engines, and horses. Maybe your memories are of great food from the North Village to the Log Village. or going to one of the amazing concerts. This is the place where memories are made. Make plans now to enjoy the history of the past at the 2023 Midwest Old Thrashers Reunion, August 31st through September 4th in Mount Pleasant. Visit oldthrashers.com for more details.
At 5 Star Community Credit Union, we want to help you lead a better life. We offer competitive rates and convenient appointment times for all kinds of loans: auto, recreational vehicles, home equity line of credit, holiday, and personal loans. We make it easy to build your credit and enjoy the good things in life.
We invite you to join 5 Star Community Credit Union. We are community-minded and member-focused. Come visit our locations in West Burlington and Mount Pleasant or online at 5starcu.org. Federally insured through the NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
We are back. You might have saw my face during the commercials. We had a little technical difficulty, so I was trying to time it right so I could say something when it came to me, but I'm a few seconds off on my screen over here. So, Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk, powered by Fairway. Hunter Moeller and Andy Kretzinger, Nick Steffens. We're going to talk about baseball, softball real quick. We only have a few more minutes, and then it's a baseball, softball show for the rest of the summer. So, Hunter, we had a lot of baseball. We definitely can't get into every game. So just tell me a few teams that are sticking out so far this year for you.
Yeah, I mean, this past week, I think you'd have to say Mid Prairie and Van Buren. Both teams won 3 straight. Obviously, Mid Prairie Golden Hawks, one of our 2, I believe, 2A teams. Well, Van Buren's 2A too.
Yep.
I shouldn't say that, but Mid Prairie.
Cardinal, I believe, is also 2A.
Yep, exactly. That's what. See,
there you go. Shouldn't have said it.
But Mid Prairie is our new state Class 2A number 1 ranked baseball team. After an undefeated week, as I mentioned, 3 straight wins. They got a 7-2 victory over 4A Bettendorf. A 7-3 win over Williamsburg, who was number 4 in Class 2A, and then they throttled West Branch 10-2 there to end the week on Friday. So, Golden Hawks state semifinalist last year, now holding number 1 spot in 2A right now. In the third, I think it's technically the second week of rankings.
I think it's second rankings. They're number 2 coming in the first week.
And then Van Buren County has been playing super well. 16-6 win over Wapello on Thursday. Friday, it defeated West Burlington 8-3, and then down Fairfield 10-7 on Saturday there. And then Hillcrest Academy has kind of been eye-popping in the first couple of games. 18-0 over Danville and 17-3 over Louisa Muscatine. So if I had to say some of the teams that are more eye-popping, making some noise right now, I would say obviously Mid Prairie being ranked number 1, and then Van Buren, just how they've been performing here. I believe only 1 loss on the season to start. So
for sure, yeah. And on the softball side, I'll scroll through some of these small schools. Highland played 4 games over 4 days. 12-5 winners over Central Lee and 14-1 winners over Pekin. And then they played a couple of really tough teams, Wilton and Calamus Wheatland. Lost 3-1 to Wilton, had a little lead in that for a while. 8-2 to Calamus Wheatland, so a 2-2 for the Huskies. Columbus beat Lone Tree 11-3. They beat Mount Pleasant 10-4, and they lost to West Burlington. Man, West Burlington's tough, 10-0. Columbus had some Lily Coyle hit her first bomb of the year. Ellie Sanders, youngster there for Columbus, and that's Columbus Waco, by the way. Yep. 3 for 4 with a couple of RBIs. And speaking of Jocelyn Fulton, 2 for 4 with a couple of doubles there. And that win over, those were stats from Lone Tree. And then Hillcrest Academy, a 10-1 win in their first game of the year. So Ravens pop onto the winner's circle there over Danville. Kylie Statler, 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Malia Yoder, 2 for 3 with 2 doubles. Cardinal had a little bit of a tough stretch here. They had to play Fort Masson and Knoxville, lost both of those 2, but look out for those guys this year. Mid Prairie beat Mount Pleasant 10-0, beat Tipton 8-2, and beat Tipton 15-2. And then really quick here, I'm going to pull up we didn't talk about this last week, I don't think, because of how crazy the spring was, or maybe it happened that night. But we had a game, a historic game between the Winfield Union Wolves softball team and the Pekin Panthers softball team. And it took a little bit for the stats to come through on that. But a 28-27 game. I'm going to pull it up right now because I have a couple of stats that I need to read you, Hunter, real quick.
Oh, I remember writing it.
Yeah, because you wrote it, I guess. And Winfield won on a wild pitch there. Hopefully the internet can pull up this softball game so I can give you a couple of stats from that. Here we go. 28-27, Winfield scored 8 runs in the 7th inning to walk it off. I believe they walked it off on a wild pitch score by Keely Malone. And speaking of Keely Malone, she went 5 for 7, 8 RBIs. Quinn Smith went 6 for 7, 7 RBIs for Winfield Mount Union, which is insane. For Pekin, they had 5 different girls score 4 runs. Peyton Coleman, Anna Hadley, straight out right off of the state track meet. Maya Bainbridge, Paisley Coleman, and Quinlan Baker, all 4 runs scored. Quinlan Baker had 4 RBIs in that. So that's a nice little stat stuffer for the beginning of the softball season. And we might have some high scores tonight. We've got in the SEC action, Mount Pleasant baseball and softball are going to Washington. Doubleheader. Fairfield hosts Fort Madison, doubleheader. And guess what?
We're going to flip it right
We don't know where we're going right now. Heads. You want to be? This is for you, Hunter. Okay. You want to be heads to go to Washington or heads to go to Fairfield?
Heads to Fairfield, I guess.
Heads. Hunter goes to Fairfield. Tails. Hunter goes to Washington. I'm flipping it right now. This is where you're going to see us tonight. Heads. Have fun in Fairfield, Hunter. I'll be in Washington for Demon and Panther fans. And for Nick, Hunter, and Fairway Food Stores, we will see you
next week.